Yesterday, we ranked the rookie wide receivers, and today we're going to be ranking the rookie running backs, and we're going to be doing that for redraft here today. We're going to rank them into tiers, and we're going to talk ball on them. We're also going to talk strategy, what to do with them in redraft, how to draft them, when to pick them up, and everything in between. But before we dig into this, you have to smash that subscribe button right now and stop missing out on this information that will help you build your fantasy teams, help you pick guys off waiver wires, and help you stay informed when news hits on these players. But let's dig in. Let's look at the tier maker, and we're going to start ranking these players. We're going to rank 12 or more rookie running backs so you're in the know what to do with these players. So S tier, we do have a stud this year. I think you know who we're going to be talking about. We're going to throw the stud up right now. Bijan Robinson. You're going to see him drafted in the first round in a lot of your leagues. There's going to be some leagues where he goes as the 101. People are up in arms with him. He's going to get production. He's going to get opportunities. He's going to be used in the passing game. This guy was productive at all phases over at Texas. He led all running backs in missed tackles forced. He catches the ball downfield, gets targeted downfield, can run routes out of the slot, out of the backfield, can be used as a major receiving threat. He's also a human highlight reel. He can really make defenders miss in the open field, in traffic. It doesn't even matter. One of the better running backs we've seen come out these last few years. Everyone's excited about him as a prospect, as a player, as a fantasy football asset. We've heard nothing but Bijan Robinson over these last few years, either when it's Devy, Dynasty, and now it's in redraft mode. Everybody wants some Bijan Robinson. Everybody wants him on their team. So that's easy for the S tier. A tier, we just got one player as well. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. And drafted 12th overall in this year's draft. Usually running backs who get drafted 12th or higher gives you some sort of production. Usually a baseline RB2 production, but can be RB1s as well. So that's something to be interested in. He can also be used in the passing game. Very electric in the passing game. Very electric in space. Catch the ball in the backfield. Broke out with two different collegiate programs. Broke out with Georgia Tech and Alabama. And was heavily involved in the passing game with both programs as well. Really made his mark with Alabama last year as he was put on notice on a national level. He was productive. He made guys miss. Looked good. He was productive as a freshman over at Georgia Tech. Had a high-end market share of their passing production. This guy's good between the tackles too. Sees things well. Makes quick decisions. He's explosive. Very fun running back prospect, and he's a good discount in drafts right now. You're talking what, a late third round pick, mid third round pick, something like that. We'll see when drafts really start getting hot and heavy. I'll look for his value to increase, but really he's a discount for what he is. He's very explosive, going to be used. They're going to give him the rock plenty of times. I know they got David Montgomery, but they're going to use him in the passing game. They're going to let him get carries. He's going to get opportunities to succeed. Now we're in B tier. And B tier here is the middle round running backs. We're going to talk about all of them. We're going to group them together because I really like all of them. First one, Kendre Miller. Good size, adjust athleticism, can catch the ball a little bit out of the backfield. We saw that the other day in his preseason game. He's also electric. He's also explosive. But we got some running backs in front of him. Alvin Kamara is the guy that could prevent the breakout from this year. However, where he's going in drafts, about the double-digit round, somewhere around there, that's a good discount. That's a good price, and we're shooting for upside. We know the fragility at the running back position is very scary, makes things really iffy for a lot of these veteran running backs. They drafted him in the third round for a reason. He's a very fun running back prospect to watch. Go watch his tape from TCU. Very explosive, has good size, can really be a 3-down running back. I like him a lot for Dynasty and really watching tea leaves here in redraft. But the thing is, you get to a certain part of the draft and you're taking shots on these young running backs, hoping that you get one that hits. Another one that you want to see that hits, Zach Charbonnet. People are scared off from him due to Kenneth Walker, due to Kenny McIntosh. The thing about this, these running backs have been in and out of lineup all training camp. They've been in and out with injuries. And the fact that this team spent 2 second-round picks on running backs means they want to run the football. They want to get these guys opportunities. He looked good in his preseason performance. He looked good in college. He broke out with 2 different collegiate programs. Broke out at Michigan as a freshman. First running back ever to get double-digit touchdowns as a freshman at Michigan. Transferred to UCLA. Broke out there, then came back another year and improved his chops in the passing game. He's got some size. He can run it between the tackles. He can also catch it out of the backfield as well. Can be a good fantasy asset. Where you're getting him at in drafts, he's worth the upside. He's worth the price of admission. Something happens to Kenneth Walker, which has already happened. It's already happened. You got a running back who's going to get a lot of opportunity, and you're going to see a split between these 2 running backs. They're both going to get opportunity here. Both of them are going to have their spike weeks. Zach Charbonnet, at the price of admission, he's worth having at the back end of your depth chart. And thinking of another rookie running back here that might pop off, and we're going to have to wait a little bit, see what happens, but it might be sooner than later, just like the other guys, Rashawn Johnson. First running back drafted on day 3. That means the Bears spent that night thinking about what they were going to do with their early picks in day 3. How are they going to allocate those? And they were like, you know what? We're going to be drafting Rashawn Johnson. They picked him up. He's got good size. He moves well. Pass blocks well. Could be a guy that really helps them out. Very explosive. They got some other guys here, Foreman, and they got Khalil Herbert. But over time, they're probably going to test the waters with him, give him some opportunity, and he's another late round dart throw. Double-digit rounds. Take the chance. See what happens. He's cheap. There's no sunk cost invested. And then there's another guy, we've been talking about him a lot, Tank Bigsby. You know what? We want the Jaguars offense. I'll tell you that much. We love Travis Etienne. We're drafting him too. Some people are drafting both. I'll draft both in some leagues. It's going to happen because we want this Jaguars offense. They drafted him in the 3rd round for a reason. He's been looking good in preseason because he's a good running back. This is a good running back class. This was considered a studly running back class going into the offseason, and then some of these guys fell in the draft. But this is a very good running back class with a lot of talent still. Tank Bigsby can do everything for you. He's just not exceptional at one thing, but he can hold it down between tackles, get you the short yardage. He can also catch the ball a little bit out of the backfield, more like a dump-off guy. He's not a guy you're going to run routes with out of the slot or anything, but he can help you out in a pinch there, run it outside a little bit. He can give you a little bit of everything. The Jaguars told you they thought he was talented because they already had a running back on the roster that they spent a 1st round on, and they like him. And then they're like, you know what? Let's spend another day 2 pick on Tank Bigsby. Let's get the 1-2 combo. They got it here. Let's say Travis Etienne's the dude for him. He stays healthy all year. You know what? You're probably still going to get some volatile weeks out of Tank Bigsby. Some spike performances. Some boom-bust weeks. On the flip side, if something happens to Travis Etienne, you got a guy who could go nuclear. So let's look at these running backs and try to gauge how I like them the best. I like all of them. I'm shooting my shot on all of them. I really like Tank Bigsby. I like Zach Charbonnet, but the offense is a little iffy. Kendre Miller, I like. Offense a little iffy right now. Tank Bigsby, I'm up there. Really, I'm playing portfolio here. I'm just taking percentages because I know these guys are going to pop off and on throughout the season. And they all are talented in their own way. It just depends on how the situation is going to reflect their opportunities. But from a talent perspective, when I was drafting these guys, it was more like this. It was more like these 3. Boom. And it's Charbonnet sometimes here, sometimes there. But honestly, I am just taking my shots on these guys, taking flyers. If I can leave a draft with 2 of these guys, I'm happy. I'm happy. Once you get out of Tier B, you're going to Tier C. And there are 2 running backs here we're looking at. First off, Devin Achane. One thing's the injury. Another thing is Jonathan Taylor might be floating around the league. They were in talks with Dalvin Cook. That's interesting me. Plus, I don't know about this injury yet. They said it was week to week, which could also mean it's month to month. So we got to watch the tea leaves here over the next few days and weeks to see what happens. Could be a huge discount. I'm not discounting. I'm probably going to hover around him at ADP, which is around B tier. But I might go with B tier a little bit more. I do like Devin Achane. I do like this offense. But I am being safe with the injury. That being said, due to that injury, I might be able to catch him off waivers anyways if someone decides to cut bait. I do like him. I think he's explosive. I think he'll get some opportunity this season. Might be later in the year, though. Another guy who might get opportunity later in the year is Tajay Spears. And that's only going to happen if something happens to Derrick Henry. He is 29 years old, but Derrick Henry is a robot. And you do not injure robots. And I just don't see him really having a bad season unless something really bad happens to him. Tajay Spears, if that does happen, he's going to step up and get workload. They might increase the passing production. They might increase the passing workload. However, they're still built to run the football because they have Derrick Henry. Tajay Spears is going to get some run. They drafted him in the 3rd round for a reason. He's been looking good in preseason. He's explosive. Looked damn good at Tulane. Very productive runner there. Good highlight package. And he's a guy you want to get and have on the back of your roster so you don't have to fight with him off waivers if something happens to Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry goes down. They're still moving the football on the ground a little bit. Tajay Spears is going to get opportunity. He's going to give you some upside there. Now, I got 2 tiers here. Jabronis I like and just jabronis. That doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just, these are running backs drafted in the later rounds who you're waiting to see what happens. And some are better than others. But really, in redraft, it's about that opportunity. You could be a better running back, but if you got starters in front of you, it doesn't matter. If you're not touching the football, you're not scoring fantasy points. And we're talking about fantasy points. So I feel the same overall fantasy-wise between these 2 tiers. But of course, I got my preferences. I've talked about these rookies nonstop for like 5 months every day. I've ranked them 2-3 times a week during that time. So I got a very good feel of these guys, but their situation does matter. Let's start throwing these guys into the fire. First off, Evan Hall. Jonathan Taylor might be on the move. I'm looking to get him in deeper redraft leagues and basic redraft leagues, maybe as one of my last picks, just in case, because he does have some upside. Good size-adjusted athleticism, catches the ball well out of the backfield, can really be a jack of all trades there. And then also, we saw jabroni running backs hit in fantasy in this offense last year. Might happen this year. We have a different quarterback, some different things going on in the offense, but still, I'm taking that chance. I might draft him with one of my last picks. If not, I got my eye on him on the waiver wire. He's a guy you need to pay attention to. Really, you're paying attention to Jonathan Taylor, but pay attention to Evan Hall. Deuce Vaughn. I don't know what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys here at the running back position. I don't know. I like Tony Pollard a lot. He's going to get a ton of carries. He's going to get a ton of workload, and I know that. But if something happens to the running back position when he goes down, what's this running back depth chart going to look like? Rico Dowdle is going to be a guy that you're going to be looking at as well. But Deuce Vaughn has been looking very good in preseason, catches the ball in the backfield, very explosive. Another guy I like, and I know you guys like him. A lot of people who watch this channel like him, is Kenny McIntosh. And the thing is, these Seattle running backs have been in and out. He's been in and out. And these guys have been injured, and they've shown a lot of promise. All 3 of these running backs, we're talking about Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, and Kenny McIntosh. They've all flashed in camp. They've all looked good. Of course, Walker did last year. Charbonnet, the 2nd rounder. But again, he's a jabroni I like, because if something happens to these running backs, it looks like there's a high chance that could happen. Kenny McIntosh might be getting some run, and he could produce for you at a high level. Catch the ball well out of the backfield, can get targets downfield. Can't be explosive because he's an assertive player. You can be explosive and not test well if you're assertive. I love this guy. Talking about a lot. Sean Tucker. Really climbing the depth chart. Looking good in preseason. Should be the RB2 easy here in Tampa Bay. He's earning that. You're telling that from the games here. Last week he looked good. And really he could be a thorn in Rachaad White's side. Sean Tucker should be in Tier A right now. Really should be in Tier A right now. But had a heart condition. Fell out of the draft, and now he's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It says round 7 there, but that was an error from this spring. Sean Tucker's a good running back. Sean Tucker is really going to earn his stripes, and honestly, when it comes to jabronis, I got him up here. I'm watching where he's at. You're not really drafting him in redraft unless something changes here in the next couple of weeks. Looking at these players here, Chase Brown is a guy I'm keeping my eye on. He was very productive at Illinois. could be getting an opportunity if something happens to Joe Mixon. Things have been looking kind of stale right now in preseason and camp, but we're still keeping our eye on him due to the production, due to what we saw at the Senior Bowl. And any time these guys could hit. Another guy, Dwayne McBride, productive at the collegiate level, productive at the group of 5 level, the G5 level, at the college level, can run between the tackles. I like Ty Chandler. This running back depth chart you're keeping an eye on could get opportunity, and that's why I like him. I like Eric Gray. I do. But Saquon Barkley's that dude. Something happened to Saquon Barkley. It could be a committee, so I'm not 100% trusting that. Plus, he's a round 5 pick, but he moves well. He's a good lateral runner. Can really find holes. And you know what? If he gets opportunity, he's scoring fantasy points. Same thing with the jabronis I like, and same thing with the regular jabronis. Jabronis are jabronis. Once they start getting run, you get them off waivers. That's how it works. Or you draft him very, very late in your deep league. Zach Evans. I actually like him. He should be here, but I don't like the situation too well. I'm not hearing much from him out of camp. It's hard to find clips of him even to show to you guys. Zach Evans is scaring me. And like I said during his profile video that I produced on him, he's a head case. He's a head case. We know this from his recruiting story of him leading on every collegiate team as he was trying to figure out what he was going to do. I don't really fault him for that, but on top of that, that story was just so crazy of him leading on like almost 20 collegiate programs before he decided to go to TCU, of all players, when he was a 5-star recruit. And then he's talking about transferring to play for Deion Sanders, saying crazy stuff before he goes to Ole Miss. Zach Evans has some weird stuff going on, but he does look good on tape. Even with the offensive line not blocking for him well in preseason, he's still making things happen, getting some extra on the running plays. It's just, this situation is not looking great for him. Maybe he's a guy that popped off mid-season. We're moving him up here because we like Zach Evans. I love the ability. I love the athleticism. I love how he moves. I like him as a player. I really like him. Izzy Abakanda. I like him. I had him high up in my tiers for Dynasty for a bit. Redraft, he's down there. We got Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. How are you going to get opportunities? How's that going to happen? But if it does happen, he has the Jets to do it. He can make it happen. He's a back to watch. He's a back to keep an eye on. I have Chris Rodriguez still down here just because he is a pounder. If he gets opportunity, then he might get you touches, and touches could lead to some points. I'm not in love with him, but he can catch the ball a little bit out of the backfield, but mainly that's due to him getting a lot of opportunity and run early in his career at Kentucky, but he has proven to be productive at the SEC level. But looking at the jabronis I love Sean Tucker, I love Evan Hall. Those are 2 dynasty assets I was after big time. Kenny McIntosh I love. I'm surprised he fell so far in the draft. Zach Evans I love. Chase Brown. I like these players. Those are players I've been hammering off and on in dynasty leagues all off season long. Bijan's going to Bijan. He's going to be in tier S. Jahmyr Gibbs, you can't really move him either. Tier B, you can kind of make out what that tier is. You see those guys in the middle rounds all the time. Devin Achane, Tajay Spears are guys we're also liking drafting up as well. But their situations are a little bit different. But those are the rookie running backs. Let me know who you're trying to get in your leagues. Which rookie running back you're trying to draft. I want to hear about it. Which running back did you draft? Because some of you guys already drafted. Some of us are in best ball leagues on Underdog. We've been drafting all year long. Let me hear your teams. Let me hear your story. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Catch you on the next video.